While I was in Jackson, I ran into an old friend, Arnold Richardson, with his mom at a downtown restaurant. Arnold and I went to Provine High School, where he was a member of our excellent band. It was fun catching up with him, and I was intrigued to learn that he owned a pharmacy in a black section of town. I wanted to know his story.
Every store that I worked in has been in a low-income area. Heck, you just get to know people and learn to have a good time, and let's face it, we become a part of our surroundings. There are so many people that tend to slip through the cracks, that are not covered by Medicaid, that have no insurance. Some of these folks are working, but they just don't make that much money, not enough to pay for insurance. There's a lady that it was kind of dropping out of life, and she was dropping out because she was sick. She has HIV. She wouldn't take her medication. She quit going to the doctor, and she was giving up. And when I saw her, she had lost a tremendous amount of weight, looking very, very thin, emaciated. I talked to her family. I talked to her when she'd listened, and I fussed at her. And I told her that she was definitely worth something to a lot of people, and she was worth something to me. Go back to the doc, get prescription. She indicated that she couldn't afford the copayment for her prescriptions. And I told her that between her family and me, we'd find a way. I saw her a couple of weeks ago. She's looking healthy. She's gained weight. She's gotten her color back. And she said, when I told her I loved her and she was worth something, that it made her decide that she wanted to live after all. And that's great, you know. And I know we hear all the time about, we got to do this for the children and that for the children. Well, if we do enough for the parents, maybe the children, will, you know, they'll take care of itself, that situation. But one thing that I wanted my presence in this store to do was to teach the young black children that everyone who has lighter skin is not a bad person. And they can love white people too. Because I love my kids in this neighborhood. We have some terrible folks in this neighborhood. We have some of the nicest people you ever want to meet. And it doesn't matter where you are, whether it's Jackson, Mississippi, or Atlanta, Chicago, New York. Even small towns have their difficulties. We've had 2 armed robberies in this store, and Mom was 86 years old when we had the last one, and one of the guys hit her in the head with a pistol because she was calling out my name. And I happen to believe that if you need to protect yourself, you ought to be able to carry a gun, and I do. The thing I regret most, I do not regret shooting the man because he was here. Yeah. What I regret is that the situation came about that made it necessary for me to do that. No, I open my store in the morning, open the doors, and welcome just about everybody coming in, and I don't borrow trouble. Don't worry about something until it happens. Have I ever considered myself a racist? Yeah, sure. Any white male born and raised in Mississippi during the 40s, the baby boom era, it was inherent to an extent because we simply stayed separated. My dad simply said, some folks will have to visit us at home, other people we won't. But don't ever mistreat anyone. They're all just as good as you. You know, I laugh sometimes. I think about when I was at Ole Miss and we had rebel flags, I'd want to ask people, how many times do you think I sat in my dorm room looking at that rebel flag and I said, wasn't slavery great? We didn't think about it as being slavery. You know, it had nothing to do with it. That was just our little wave this football game and have a good time. What
did that rebel flag, you know, when all those rebel flags were going, what did that do for you?
Oh, it said, go team, go. And that was it. There was no racial connotation in our minds. The black people around here that I see every day, except me, because we do things together. Believe me, it doesn't hurt a bit.
No, I don't see how it was okay.
Probably not. How's Miss Mary doing? Good. Tell her we asked about her. My hopes for Mississippi actually are that divide that I mentioned earlier, that's fed by something that's happened a long, long time ago, could finally find its way to be buried. The old thing of burying a hatchet and so forth. There are certain things that need to be buried, because if I look at a person who's never done anything to me personally, I don't know what his family might have done to someone else. I have no idea. But that person hasn't bothered me, and I haven't bothered them. Gosh, why couldn't we get along? Well, hey, I think we can. And if people would just do that and stop borrowing all the problems that the world has, and look at your neighbor and realize he is my neighbor, why don't we make the best of this thing and we can become great neighbors? Something that our generation has forgotten. It's how to be a good neighbor. If you can be a good neighbor, you can be a good friend.